You see, yo, bro. Yeah, yo, I was responding to like some of your DMs. Yo, you're one of the people who made me feel bad about not going to Japan, dog. Like, you're DMing me. You're like, yo, bro, why didn't you go? And I'm like, wait, I should just like went immediately.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean that's my take anyway. I mean, hold on, this game is so fucking bro. Logistics are so shit.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. It was more like a personal thing, like on a personal basis, like between like me and you or whatever. Because I kind of know you a little bit. I just thought like I don't like seeing everything as like black and white. Like it's only negatives. There's only loss here, right? Even though Ye, I mean, I was a big fan of Ye. I'm still a big fan of his music. Like Ye's seeing it in a negative light on a lot of fronts, right? I think there are still like positives in other aspects, right? I think some of his creative process is still incredibly probably world leading and interesting or whatever. And the fact that you had an opportunity to go maybe see it in action, see it in the move behind the scenes is an opportunity that is a golden opportunity. And it's now it's bad when you say that publicly. People say, "Oh, dude, so you support people?" I'm just saying that in the grand scheme of things, right? For you personally, it's a massive positive, and actually that'd be positive for him, or whatever. So I thought it was a missed opportunity for you not to go.
Yeah, no. I mean, you echoed a point that I've heard a lot, and I mean, he hit me today. He's like, "Yo, we gotta do part 2." We started setting up some logistics, so it's gonna happen. Yo, he came on stream earlier, which, by the way, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just so I've never kind of been like, I don't know if it was starstruck. The mere fact he got on stream and started playing start chopping some samples was like mind blowing. Here's what I wanted to ask you, because as I was, I don't know if he was watching after. He was on for like 15 minutes. I don't know if he was watching afterwards, because I called Aiden and we had a conversation. And Aiden, Aiden loves me and I love Aiden too. But also I could tell Aiden feels a way about the rhetoric with Kanye. And Kanye responded to that. He made a video and Aiden responded to that. But I saw you under the comments too. And I said, what does XQC think of everything with Kanye currently? You tell me.
Listen, people have like these memes about me, or whatever. Like they always say defend it, because I always defend a lot of people's beer, or whatever. But they don't see the nature of my arguments often enough, because they want to see it as soon as it's on a positive side, it's automatically bad if it's talking about somebody who's being seen negatively. But okay, sorry, give an example. Like if Elon Musk is currently seen in a negative light, and then he does something, and I say, "Yo, guys, I agree this is bad overall, but here's that side. That's not bad." People will say, "Oh my God, stop defending him." It has nothing to do with defending him. So in a way, I feel like right now people are doing this thing with Ye. It was like, "Oh my God, he says bad thing. That means all bad. Forget about him." And I don't agree with that entirely as a process, right? So like, I feel like some of the things that he says that aren't the ones that are outlandish. I don't agree with it. Aren't entirely wrong, right? And I just wish that some of his dialogue was like kind of like recurbed or whatever. I'm not gonna police people's speech or whatever, right? Because people have like freedom of speech and shit like that, and I respect that. It's still shit opinions, but it's all good.
You know what I've realized about you over time, and I really like this about you. And I've had this conversation with Aiden, especially when it comes to streamers. I've seen streamers kind of, when given an opinion, look at their audience, see what the majority is, and say, that's what it is. You have a really unique ability to have nuance, and nuance isn't rewarded online. What's rewarded online is, I'm this perfect person that will condemn all these things, or I'm the worst person that allows all these things. It's never the nuance where it's like, hey, listen, when he's saying this, he is wilding out. I don't fuck with it. But doesn't mean I can't listen to maybe a valid point when he's talking about this. You, sir, have this really unique ability that I believe most streaming audience prevents people from having, because your audience sometimes will bully you into an opinion. Wait, you fuck with Ye? Oh, wait, whoa. What do you mean he has a point? Oh, if you think he has a point, you agree with everything he says. And that's where I realize, people like you, I always will have respect for, because you have nuance.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, that's. Oh, thanks for the compliment. Which is, people say, "Oh, glazing with it." I kind of hate that. Yeah, it's cool that you noticed that about me. So one of the big points is that I don't like when something that a process that happens a lot. Maybe you see probably all the time, that brushes me the wrong way. That kind of made me become like that. Is when somebody is wrong, everything flies. If this guy robbed the store, right? He probably also did it. Oh, wait, he also did this and that and this. And even though these new things don't have any proof or any validity, it's all true. And if you say, guys, I know this guy robbed the store, but he didn't kill somebody. It was like, whoa, dude, don't defend this guy. Don't defend the fucking robber killer. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, I do agree with you. Fuck this guy for robbing a store. But let's not say that he's a killer at the same time. I think that's kind of... And that opinion gets you killed on the internet these days. It gets you everybody jumps on you. And
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Why do you have that nuance though? Because, for example, I'll tell you why I identify with people who could discern. Because in the hip hop world, I'm super polarizing, right? So some people really like me, but a lot of people really hate me, right? So if I I don't know, say I'm walking and there's a kid with a toy and I accidentally kick the toy, they're like, "We told you he's a bad person. He did that purposely." They won't give me the benefit of the doubt and be like, "Yo, he didn't see it. He just accidentally kicked it." They're going to say he's a shitty person. We've told you this. We didn't like his opinions. We don't like him. He looks ugly. He's fat. They'll bring everything up to be like, he did this purposely. There's no nuance to say, okay, we don't like the guy, but it was a mistake, right? And I don't think you're that, right? I feel like I'm that. Where people, there's a lot of people who don't like me, but I think you're someone who I think you'd probably be on the scale of, people generally like you. So usually those people soapbox, which is I'm either going to stay completely out of commenting on things like this, or I'm going to comment like I'm Jesus and I'm going to just condemn because I want to keep being liked.
Yeah. I mean, that's classic no-brainer. When you're somebody who does that, though, you stand to gain everything, right? But at the same time, you're not really giving people who you actually are, right? Because nobody's perfect and nobody thinks who generally agrees with public opinion every single time? Well, nobody. That's not even that's a mathematical improbability that you're a robot that thinks. But often enough, you'll see streamers, public figures, influencers. They always have the correct opinion. Most of them, really. That's a genuine, a mathematical anomaly, just pure off a number basis. But regardless, though,
I've seen you call this out with streamers in general. Let me tell you this. Streamers, and this is why when, someone like you, and we've been around each other in person, but even before then, I've always gotten this from just how you've dealt with shit. There's so many streamers who are so scared to lose their audience. They're always saying, I got to say the right thing, even if it goes against my gut or it goes against nuance. You're never been that. I've seen you comment on whatever random situation, and you're always just saying, hey, I'm going to use this nuance perspective of it, but also this is what I think. And I always looked at it, I'm like, yo, if he's trying to be one of those streamers who are just always on the moral high ground of things, he wouldn't do this. And I always wonder, why do you do it? Because I don't think people dislike you. Usually when you're on the opposite side of the spectrum, for example, I was talking to Ye, And we were having like a moment of like he was just like I could see something with you where you don't agree with everything what I'm saying, but you understand certain shit. And I said, well, I saw them come for me and try to cancel me. So like now I'm able to look at things that way. But before then, I probably wouldn't.
Exactly.
If they didn't
Yep.
try to come for me, I'd probably be like, yo, you're wilding out. They never try to cancel you though, but you're able to see it. That's why I give you credit.
So you know what? I was going to answer, and then you answered for me. So my answer was going to be, was asking me why and how, whatever. My process is the exact same that you have or you had, where like I've been there, and I've been that person that was on that side, right? Like getting shit on for other things, and then it's not a spot that you want to be in, right? Like, because it really sucks that you have to explain everything. Like, just give you an example. When I got kicked out of the league way back when, right? Like it was like some incident where like people thought it was like racist or something like that. Whatever, it wasn't. But regardless, now every time something happened negatively with me in the future, whether it was some drama, whether it was some anything at all, whatever, it could have been the most mildest thing. Like I bullied some guy in a game or Among Us. The first reply would always be, "Isn't the guy who did something racist? Is that the racist guy? Is that the homophobic guy? Whatever." And they always called me that, right? And it would fly instantly. Like whoever says that is right because I look like I'm a bad guy right now. All the other bad shit that isn't even true, or whatever. Now it all flies, and I'm like, dude, imagine if I had something to say sometimes as a public figure, and every time I was going to say something, I was discredited because of something that isn't even true, but it's going to fly anyway. That'd be really shitty. I mean, I've worked hard to get a voice, and I lose my voice off of some like, and I think that these people sometimes they deserve to have somebody say something about or go in the front lines because they cannot be in the front lines for themselves. That's a problem mainly when you're somebody who talks and you do stuff on the internet and public figure. When it's time to defend yourself, you can't. A lot of times you cannot even defend yourself. You can say a couple things, or whatever, but other people have to kind of front line for you. Something that I've noticed a lot is that because I have like 20,000 hours on the internet, people watch me for fucking so much. There's so many hours live, right? They don't, just by the gist of it, just by seeing me talk, whatever, they kind of know who I am, right? It's like your personal radar. So whenever something happens that's like not bad, people help me out a lot. My community and my viewers, they defend me a fuck ton because they don't. Wait a minute, guys. Like I actually watched the whole show. I watched, but this is not how it looks, whatever. And they actually defend me. So I have built that front line for myself, right? And I think the thing with Mr. Ye is that the people that defend him a lot are the people that consume his product because product is king on the internet. And he's delivered a great product, right? But now, unfortunately, that layer is starting to kind of shave off a little bit, and he's kind of losing that front line. And now he's kind of finding himself to have a thinner front line, and it's hurting him a lot. So whatever he says something that's true, that line of defense isn't there to be protected to protect him. And I think that's why he's losing a lot of support, in my opinion.
No, that's a really interesting perspective. I would probably counter with
Go ahead.
what you're saying to say, I think he believes his front line is music. So if you've ever looked at any time he's gone through a really rough patch, like, I mean, he got pretty much taken off all platforms. What does he do? He comes back with Vultures, which everyone's like, yo, this shit is great. And I don't know if that's pressure for him, but he definitely does realize that if the music is a dud, if no one likes the music, and then you're saying these things that are probably, it's going to be super hit or miss, you're just not going to have the backing. And I think he leans on the music. Like, for example, he hit me today, and he literally, I can show you the message. He's just like, yo, Ak, hey, remember, this is after he told me, he says, yo, I don't know if he did it. He's like, yo, I got 400 more tweets I got to send off. And I'm like, what? Right? And then he says to me, oh, by the way, I'm dropping my album tomorrow. I'm like, what? But I do think what he rationalizes in his mind is, hey, I'm fucking amazing at music. And yes, I might say some things people don't agree with, but that music is going to be the thing that kind of it's a cushion. It's like the Tempur-Pedic bed, where it's like you ever seen like the early commercials for Tempur-Pedic bed was like, hey, you could have like a glass of water on one side and jump on the other side and it doesn't disturb it. And for him, it's like, yeah, that's what I could do. I could say these things over here, but as long as the music is good, it'll all be fine. You know?
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And what I also meant by that, what you're saying, right, is that his old work weighs the scales like it's so much weight. And I generally think it speaks volumes that even though all this old work is so heavy in that scale, it's still starting to shift a little bit, or it's like wobbling a little bit. And because let's be honest, he could say some controversial stuff with what he's done with all of his music in the past. Nobody blinks an eye because that legacy is so strong, right? But I genuinely think that he's burning through that really fast. And I don't think that this is an opinion. And like I said, this might mean, I don't think he'll watch it, but it'll probably brush him the wrong way. I don't think that his new material is adding enough fire retardant to stop the fire that he's causing on himself, right? And at one point, in my opinion, soon probably, I think it tips over. And I think when that tips over, I mean, he loses all of his leverage, which I think sucks to see because he's built an empire brick by brick, right? And I always say this: if you build an empire, if you're the one that's building an empire, you're allowed to break it down. You're allowed. It's a right that you gain. If I become a big streamer, whatever, I am allowed to fuck it all up, right? And people around me, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I built this shit. I'm allowed to break it. So he's allowed to do that. But I can't help myself but to say, hey, there's a little bit too much loss here. I feel like there's a lot to gain here. And maybe you could recurve this into something that ends up being in the profit and not tip the scale and lose all your power. But, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I mean,
yeah. No, it's a really interesting, it almost feels like a case study. I had a conversation with him. I'll read a part of our text message we had today.
Does he like that, by the way? Does he mind that you read his message with her?
No. By the way, he wanted me to share all the messages. I stopped after a while. Like, he literally, if you look at the messages I shared, he actually said, feel free to share these messages.
Fair enough. I'm just saying because in general, just because of how I deal with whatever, just making sure that you're not like getting into
no, absolutely. And by the way, if people look at the first tweet I sent out, he actually says it there. Feel free to share it. I didn't tweet this out, but I'll share it with you. But this was in the context of the things he was down for me to share. I didn't share everything, but I said something to him that kind of matches with what you said. Let me just search it real quick because here we go. Okay, great. Here we go. Essentially, he wanted my perspective on something. And he was just like, yo, hey, listen, because I was asking him, how are you going to like still create? Like, Live Nation is like this big touring company. They're not rocking with you. Your bank accounts are being frozen. Shopify doesn't want to work with you. And you're still selling product, but now you can't sell it through the most like, how are you going to keep doing what you do when all these entities that are big conglomerates are going to run away from you? And
yeah.
And I'll read it verbatim. I said, this is the most interesting science experiment that I think everybody's watching. I said, so this is me saying, I said, you know how they said no one's bigger than the program? It feels like everyone's waiting to see if you make it to the other side with a different blueprint, because he was basically saying, hey, I could do touring without these guys. I could sell product without Shopify. I could do all these companies that are saying, we're not going to fuck with you because of what you're doing. He's saying I could do without it. So I'm telling him, I said, right now, I don't think anyone conceivably thinks some of these things are possibles without the entities that you're talking about. Whether it's Live Nation, major labels, DSPs, big fashion houses, big
Yeah.
retail chains, banks, payment
Can I say
processors.
something? Can I say
Yes.
something real
Go
quick?
ahead. Yes.
So I actually thought about that the other day. That phenomenon where can you do it by yourself, right? Can
Mhm.
you, if you were to say fuck Nike, fuck Adidas, fuck the motherfuckers, I'm gonna make my own shoe with my own factories, whatever. Yeah, you'll probably do it, right?
Mhm.
A lot of times there's a lot of loss in the process in getting started, in getting those guys that know what they're doing, in getting the logistics down, and getting the equipment or whatever, right? And at the end, you might be able to do that, but not as effectively. There's a lot of loss there. And also, you might, when you're a big ass artist, I'm sure that you are getting a lot of artificial push from Spotify or whoever the fuck is pushing your music, right? Just
Mhm.
because it's good for them, it's good for you, whatever, right?
Mhm.
And you're gonna, oh yeah, I'm where I'm at because my shit's fucking the bomb, whatever. Yeah, true. Your shit is the bomb, and you're there because you deserve it. But you're also getting a lot of small elements that are in your favor, right? That you can't see or feel, but that matter and weigh the skills. And when you say, guys, fuck everybody, I'm doing shit by myself. Yes, you might be able to do that. But when you get there, you're gonna see when you shave off all those elements and all your good faith and all your backing, there's a lot less left. And when you get there, it's not a good spot. And I just think that yeah, he can do all these things by himself, right? But I think there's a lot of loss again, and I hate seeing loss. That's all.
And that's why I told him he's a test case. I said, listen, first of all, you know, he says he's the richest rapper, which I believe he's the richest rapper ever. So I said, you have the funding, but also you have the catalog, you have the influence that no one else has. That's why I say he's a test case because no one is you. Like you're the only Kanye, right? And I'll give you his response because I then also said, I said, UMG owns the system with Billboard and partly owns Luminate, which is they're the one who reports sales, and they also own part of Spotify. Like if all these are your enemies, like how are you gonna? And he said this to me. He says I've been dropped by all these groups and I'm still here. Okay. He then says he's like these organizations that you've mentioned, they use my so-called peers to control and have influence over me, or the people next to me, or my audience. That's why I won't back up. And he was speaking directly about the swastika. He said, I won't back up from it. He says, it hits them in the same place they think they hit me by dressing. And this is why I said earlier, I said it with Aiden, I said, a lot of things he says, he'll bring it back to really personal things. Like, for example, his kids. He says, he's basically saying he's wearing the swastika because it's hitting them with the hurt, the pain, and disrespect that he feels that whoever you want to call they are hitting him. And he says that they think they're hitting me by dressing up my little girl like she's grown. And I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
well,
a cohesive point, or we call it a non sequitur where it's like the points don't follow. But you know, my whole point initially was, hey, listen, if you say fuck off to all these groups, right? Like for example, we're live
I know we're going.
streamers.
I know we're going with this. I
Yeah,
think you're sorry to speak for you. I feel like you're gonna say like, yeah, you might hit them, and this is his hit at them. Takes a brick out of their castle, but he just lost a wall, you know. And I think that this exchange, this trade off in damage isn't it's not balanced at all. It's not equivalent. So I don't really see the end game here.
and and while I agree with you, what I will also say to his benefit is that I think because he's a unique one of one, I told him, I said, hey, we're all watching you as like this test case.
Yeah.
We're trying to see you come up on the other side, but we can't tell. It's like he jumps in the water. We can't tell if you're drowning or you're about to pop back up and say, I made it on the other side. So we're kind of watching. And for everybody who maybe either have similar thoughts or maybe people just be like, no, this is not the only like system. What's going to happen? And bro, it's an interesting thing, bro. I really don't know, man. You know, did you see what he said to Aiden?
No. What is it, Aiden?
No, oh
Oh,
no,
no, the tweet.
yeah, the video, the video that
So,
that
so I had this kind of like philosophical, like kind of argue in my head, try to come up with an argument, and then kind of argue with myself a little bit and kind of do that trade until I kind of have a final idea, or whatever. And because I did that the other day, and I thought about it, and I unfortunately I disagree, right? And the reason why I disagree is just because I think that there are degrees to things, right? And yeah, two things can be both bad. One can be just flat out worse, and a lot of it is just that the way people perceive what he does, right? They perceive it as bad, right? This is a very bad behavior, very bad whatever, right? But he keeps on doing that, and he has a every day, every couple tweets, whatever. He's furthering down and doubling down, tripling down. But a lot of other guys that are doing harm, right, by saying I did drugs or I was shot up on the block, whatever, right, like vibes, whatever, right. A lot of it is past that, is going further than that, is doing better. But in Ye's case, it's I'm like really low, guys. Look how low this is. But I'm going even lower, whatever, and I'm enjoying this. If you were to take a lot of some of these other guys are doing that he says is bad, right? And they would have had the same behavior, they would probably have a similar response, right? People would probably condemn them as much, if not more, right? But I just think it's a false equivalency that he's trying to sell on himself, and it's just wrong.
Yeah, what do you think? If you had to extrapolate, what do you think? I talked to Aiden, and he was trying to think about what he could think is going to happen. For me, maybe I'm a little bit too close to it. I definitely don't think that some of the bridges he's burned is good, but I do believe he's like a unique one of one where he's gonna be able to survive, but I don't know if that means anyone else should follow his path. Like sometimes you'll have
what path is that? Why would anybody want to follow this path? Let's be honest. Speaking, people always say, "Oh, I speak freely," whatever. When I'm saying bad things, a lot of people are speaking freely, and some of them are almost speaking freely. It's not because everybody speaks freely that everybody's gonna say the wildest shit. Not everybody wants to say the N word. I don't mean to sound like I'm on the guys, don't say this word. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying not everybody wants to follow or would follow if even given the chance.
Well, here's the thing. I do think there's a growing sentiment. Again, I don't know why. But like, for example, criticism of people of Jewish descent. There's a growing, or maybe it's not growing. Maybe it's just, I'm just noticing it more now. There's a growing sentiment of people who want to either criticize, maybe placate blame to those people to say, hey, you're the reason why I'm being oppressed. You're the reason why I'm having misfortune. You guys have too much power. You guys have whatever. I've seen that start to rise these days. And
well, because of the Palestine-Israel thing, I think that's a big shield for him. The fact that, I mean, let's be honest, if he was acting like this years before this conflict was more massive on at least social media, I mean, he'd be getting absolutely crushed. He would be banned. He would be eradicated from any digital space almost overnight. But the fact that this ongoing conflict is happening and people are genuinely on the side of Palestine, or whatever, right? So anti-Israel or Jewish, they don't want to say that, but it's kind of how the sentiment is, right? It is a massive shield for him, and it's giving him a lot of leeway. But I don't even know what. Yeah, that's just my take.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, it's so interesting. Would you ever sit down with Ye? Or in my case, stand up?
Yeah, I mean, bro, you know, people ask this question, right? I don't want to sound like I'm like some glazer. Oh yes, please give me the collab. Please give me the. See, I always speak like how I think about things, right? Of course, it'd be cool to have like a sit down or talk, because a lot of times, I have to be honest with you, some of his points they start with an idea, and before we hear the root thought, why you came up to this, explain to me. I'm not even criticizing something that you're saying. Help me understand it. why you think this and sell me on this idea, and I will keep buying, right? To try to make it make sense. But right now, the problem I have is that I have a lot of very strong pieces, and I'm not seeing how he's getting there. So walk me through it. How do you get there? Why do you get there? And if I can understand, anybody can understand it. But right now, I think a lot of people are lost, and so am I lost. So yeah, I'm able to talk and say, yeah, how do you get there? So that I can understand it, at least, and say maybe I agree, maybe I disagree. I flatly disagree. I don't see it at all. But still, the people are much more receptive than they give themselves credit for, right? A lot of times, somebody can be a lot, even with me. Something that I'm saying is true, right? But I'm such a shit communicator that I'm wrong. Sometimes I have a good take and I get crucified, and I'm like, guys, what I meant is kind of like this. Like, oh wow, yeah, you're right about this, but I got crucified for this.
Yeah.
Because I'm a shit. I'm just not good. And often enough, when Ye goes on to kind of a tirade, he kind of just denounces the end points without really kind of selling anybody or explaining the thought process on how we got there. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, no, man, yo, it's
okay. Something I ask Chad often, right? I'm like, okay. People say, "Oh my God, Jewish this, Jewish that, this guy," and people say this is bad, whatever, and they don't explain it. Okay, let's say I'm a guy who I just spawned in, I just appeared, okay, and I know nothing. Explain to me why Jewish bad, why Jew bad. Explain that so that even though I disagree, I can still understand the thought process. And a lot of times, I get no answers. I don't even know what. And a lot of things that they explain, guys, the Jews are doing this. And I'm like, okay, it seems like everybody does it. How is that a problem? Now that just maybe they're good with money. Okay, is that something that people don't try to do, don't try to be, whatever? I'm just saying the argument that people come up with that I'm like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No. I wholeheartedly agree with you. For example, Kanye. I don't understand when he speaks about Jewish people in the way he speaks about it. Yeah. I only understand why someone might have and it could be misplaced. In his personal story, he feels like his career, his kids, his entire livelihood has been affected by a certain group of people. Now, granted, here's the thing. Is this probably also predetermined by where you're at? Yeah, if you're in Hollywood or Beverly Hills, yeah, maybe all your lawyers happen to be, maybe all of your situations, but is that, if your issue is only with certain situations you have, do you have problems with those people or do you have a problem with a group of people, like the overall, like just Jewish people, or you have a problem with maybe a few people in the music industry? And I think that's where, like, I've always been trying to get the understanding of Ye, because
I don't get it either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he definitely he personalizes what's happened to him, and he's like, hey, these are the people who have done it, and they should be held accountable.
Yeah, but again, I generally think that what if I said, oh guys, I'm a white guy and I was born in the projects or whatever, right? And I lived through mostly black dominated areas or whatever, right? And I've had a lot of hardship. Everybody that was against me was black. Would I be justified in saying, guys, I don't like those people, whatever? No, I'd just be a flat out racist, literally. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. And often enough, it seems like that's how he's coming off to me, is a lot of these guys that end up being bad to me are all Jewish. The Jews are doing this to me. Fuck them. But I'm like, well, I'm not really sold on this idea. At the same time, there's a lot of Jewish people in a lot at the top of a lot of fields. There's a lot of them. Whatever you want to say about the reasons why they're not, it's just kind of there's just a lot of people. A lot of people are of Jewish family, Jewish upbringing. Does that make it inherently wrong? Does it? I am not sold on this idea at all, and I don't know. I don't think he's sold a lot of people on this idea either. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hey, man, I'm watching the movie. I'm hoping this is I'm hoping the plot ends up being something that's sensible. You know, bro. All I gotta say to you, man, yo, thank you for you know, thank you for your kind words when you hit me, bro. You know, I fuck with you, bro. We got a link in Vegas again, bro.
Sure. Also, I listen. I'm not trying to speak for you and do whatever, right? I genuinely think that, like, I mean, you're still kind of young, right? And in your field, people respect what you have to say. People still listen, right? Even if you can be, I don't know, a voice translator of like something that's more better or more positive or more digestible, whatever. There's still a win being done here by what you do, and I think in general, right? If you ever get another opportunity like that to have a sit down, a convo,
it's gonna happen.
With them and see. I think you should just snap call, do it.
Yo, hey,
bro, you're not gonna live fucking 3 lives, brother.
I'm about to hit you. Me and you are going to Vegas. You're gonna pay for the not Vegas. I mean Japan. You're paying for the jet.
I would go to Japan, and honestly, even if I were there and to do nothing like that, anything related to music, whatever, bro, I would stream every day and do IRL and fucking go down the street and go to the stores.
Yo, let's fucking go.
Because I love doing that anyway. That still works.
He actually asked me what day. We're working out the date. Yo, let's fucking go.
Yeah, but only if like other parties are okay with it. I'm not gonna like impose like that.
No, of course he would be.
But
hey, by the way, also, bruh, yo, listen. Yo, you gotta make a call. Yo, tell these Twitch people to let up off my head, man.
They're on you right now,
bro. They got me still suspended on Twitch.
Yeah, but what did you do exactly?
So I don't know if you use. So I'm on Fortnite, right? Somebody from Max's chat, this kid Noor, is on. Like, he's in our Discord. We're fucking trolling. We're always trolling. The kid's like 15. But we're trolling him about like, yo, you not fucking bitches, blah, blah, blah. Again, not the best conversation. I've said that before, you know. Like, I get it. Like, shouldn't have that conversation. But motherfucking Twitch just fucking suspended me off of that. I think that's what it... They never told me why. I actually never...
Yeah.
Yo, I never got told why I'm suspended off Twitch. I guarantee it. So, yeah, like, they suspended me?
I can be honest with you. So, because of what happened with the doc and those topics...
Yeah.
They lay down the fucking law. And I don't think it's out of like bad. It's because there's a bad precedent, and this is like a threat to fucking safety and fucking whatever it's called, the department, whatever, trust and safety, right? They see an incident happen that's going viral about something
I get it.
Possibly minor or whatever. They red button and they don't look back, right? I think something that people think doesn't actually it doesn't work like that, whatever, right? Showing why and explain people, guys, this happened, whatever. I had a clip, whatever. That's what I meant. That was wrong. That was stupid. That's not what I meant. I never do shit like that again. Just vocalizing, right? It helps out a lot. For you to kind of save face, one, which is I think good for you PR wise, right? Taking a knee, right? I think that's shitty. That's bad. And over at Twitch, they feel better about, yo, hold on. Let's remove the red button for a little bit, see what happens, whatever, right? But if you do that shit, if you do something like that again, usually you're gone forever. Like with those topics anyway, right? So when I saw the clip, I was critical of you. And I think for good reason. I wasn't too harsh because I didn't believe it being too harsh on anybody is gonna whatever, right? But I think if you kind of explained, vocalize, whatever, I think they'll be more receptive to like a call from your management or whatever or them, and then maybe you sit in the call and say, guys, that was fucking stupid and brain dead.
Yeah, no. I definitely did. I did all that already. Where I'm like, yo, listen, hey, yo, it's Discord shit. We're not even thinking about who's whatever. Like we're just we talk shit about, yo, bro, you're not gonna whatever. Again, not the best conversation. I've already denounced it. I will say, the only thing with Twitch is that they never told me why. And by the way, I have gotten suspended on Twitch before. There's no conversation about what happened, and I mean, I was just like, all right, I don't know. My rep's a little bit elusive right now, but
you're fine.
But
yeah, listen. Although just in general though, bro, I've been trying to go to Japan for like fucking like 3 years, because people wanted me to do IRL over there.
Let's go.
Even if it wasn't anything related to, if I had the opportunity, if they say, oh, maybe this happens, whatever, going to Japan, I'd fucking love going to Japan anyway. So I'm not lying. Chat says true. Chat, true.
No, hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. The only thing about Japan, I have the worst anxiety on plane. The worst. First of all, and this is gonna sound,
brother. Listen, whatever you guys are not worth. Listen, sorry to cut you off again for the 8 times today. Sorry, I'm jittery today, brother. I have my plane anxiety is so bad.
No, okay? It's not bad. It's not worse.
I get wake up panic attacks like 4 or 5 times on where I spark up from my like a little sleep, and I went to full panic where if like I would have enough the thought and energy to fucking jump through a window, like literally, like it's like, and I think I'm gonna fucking die. I mean, like 4 or 5 times per flight, and I still do it.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yo, it's so bad. Like, so first of all, and again, this is not bougie. I hope no one thinks it's bougie. I cannot fly. Definitely can't do economy. I only got to do first class. But when I get there, I'm almost like I got to either be super tired or I got to just keep ordering liquor till I get super drunk that I'm sleeping. And anytime I fall asleep, but any flight over like 6 hours, I only sleep for 3 hours. I wake up and I look around and I'm like, I got to get off of this fucking plane. And I'm telling you, I'm like panicking. I can't even go to the bathroom too because I'm already, it's claustrophobia and a bunch of other things. I'm like panicking on the plane. Then as soon as I'm about to go to the bathroom, it feels like a smaller space. I feel like I'm dying, bro. Like it's so bad that if I've never taken, I'm not encouraging no one to take any type of like, whatever substance, but like I heard maybe you could take something that you sleep the whole time. I would probably have to indulge. And the only thing anybody knows that Big Act does is only a little bit of, a little bit of alcohol. But if a little Valium
would probably get you real chilling. A little
16 hours though
before prescribed, of course, and you're gonna be fucking brother. When I had surgery, they gave me like a Valium, and then they gave me 2, okay? And they were like, we're about to fucking tear your shit apart and fucking drill through your leg. And I was like,
wait, what you had surgery for?
I had ACL tear.
Oh, you were playing basketball? What the fuck? How'd you have an ACL tear?
Snowboarding.
Oh, shit. Yo, I would have to take something that puts me to sleep for more than 10 hours. I don't know what that would be. I don't know if Valium does that, but it's like, bro, when I wake up and I'm on that plane, I'm telling you, I'm going to be I don't care how cold it is. I'm going to be sweating profusely. I'm going to be like intrusive thoughts are coming to my mind. I'm thinking about, do I got a parachute? Can I jump out of this? It's bad. I never used to
want
be
like fucking call the lady and say, yo, can we fucking land and go to the hospitals and like that, right? Yeah, these thoughts. Bro, whenever I fly, I hate flying overseas because I keep thinking, wait, if something happens, whatever, we can't just fucking land right there and go to the hospital, whatever. That's what I think. It is fucking.
Longest flight you've been on. My longest flight has been 7 hours to London, and I'm telling
9 to London.
That's the longest flight?
Yeah.
So, going to Japan supposedly 16 hours.
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. I think it's doable, right? I always had these plans, right? For like let's say I had to fly for this much, right? I had these little plans. I don't sleep much. I take a nap at home. When I get there, I try to fall asleep. I might be able to get maybe a 4 hours. Then I'd get like an 8 hours locked in or whatever. And then I'd be exhausted and I'm going to sleep. And then we landed. Boom. That's like how I see it. Also, by the way, on these planes that go overseas that far away, if you take first class but like first class,
Or
I think
business.
is like
Okay.
15,000, something like that. Okay, but when you get the 15K seats, it's like a little like a square room almost, right? Where you're kind of like flat out. And when you go to the bathroom, you go to the end of the plane, and there's a whole like area. It's like behind curtains, and it's like a big ass. It's almost like a flight attendant spot, and you can stretch, walk around, you can do whatever. Like, and that helps a lot with anxiety because you can just fucking say, "Oh, I need to go to the bathroom." Open up the fucking blinds, go behind where you go to the bathroom, and just fucking stretch and chill and fucking walk around and pace if you have to, you know? Because pacing for me is important. When I'm in a state of fucking of a schizo mode, I need to do laps. It can be 2 meters wide. I need to do circles. So I go to the end of the plane, I do circles.
Yo, I know people in my chatter will be like, yo, Ak, you're a bitch. Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to fly all the time. I don't know when it developed, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know if I have to talk to someone, but it developed at a certain point of me flying, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's always there now, and I'm always like, for example, on a plane. Yo, the last time I go to Miami, I'm on the plane. As soon as they lock the door, I feel like I'm dying. The guy next to me,
Yeah.
he sees me like I'm starting to sweat. I have to call someone and have a conversation, and I got to take my mind out of the plane. So now I'm talking about some random shit. So I'll say I FaceTime you. I'm like, yo, bro, yeah, yo, what's going on? Like, well, yo, what's going on with like so and so and snowboarding or something like that? Just for me to like calm. It's crazy, bro. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. No, I trust me, I relate a lot. I used to have a playlist, and it was like very stimulating songs, whatever, that were really fucking like crazy and insane, whatever. And then just so that whenever the plane's about to take off, or you feel whenever you have anxiety and the plane's taking off, you feel probably like really powerless because like, oh, whatever's bad is just starting now, and I can't tell them to stop anymore, right? I can't tell them to stop until I can get out because now we're going away. We're fucked, right? So I put some fucking music, and it goes like, and it's like my brain's like almost like eating at the music, and it's like instead of eating at itself, it's eating at something, all the sounds and the stimulation, and it helps me out a lot.
Yeah, no. Again, chat. Anxiety is a real thing, I want to practice brain exercises because I really feel powerless in those moments. Anyway,
Yep.
XQC, man, I haven't seen you in a minute, bro. I do want to. I always say, I enjoy the moments that I spent with you in person. I think you're a really cool person, and I've always spoke positively about you. I feel like all of our interactions been positive. I know you're a super fair guy. If you've ever spoken about me, I know you're always gonna be very fair and honest, and I trust that about you. So, bro, I fuck with
Thank
you,
you,
bro.
man.
I fuck with you.
Thank you,
Always.
thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for always being receptive and fucking answering DMs and shit. It's really cool. So thanks for always being a stand up guy. And like I said, if you ever want to talk, I'm always listening. Listen. I do whatever content, right? So whenever somebody wants to talk, whatever, I'll pick up the phone. So
Yo,
anytime you want to talk about anything, I'm always here.
all right. So when I invite you to motherfucking Japan, just let's go. I'll bother you on the plane and we just kick it.
I'll hop in, bro. You could tell me we'd leave in 3 hours, and I'd be at fucking Miami International in fucking 2.5.
Damn, yo, you really fuck with Japan's. Oh man, all right, we gonna do it,
Japan's
man.
sick. I always wanted to go.
All right, we're gonna do it, man. All right, XQC, love you, brother. Appreciate you,
Love you, man.
appreciate your audience. And before I go, I just want to say, yo, you are one of the people who inspire me. Even I feel like I've been doing what I've been doing for like damn near almost like 15 years now. I see how you work tirelessly, bro. You stream on 2 platforms. You stream still the most of everybody. At times when I feel tired, I feel like a bitch because of you. So thank you, and
Thank you,
brother,
man.
appreciate you. All right.
I love you, man. Thanks, man. Keep it up, man.
All right, definitely, bro.
Take care. See ya.
All right. Shout out to my man XQC, man. That's my boy. All right. We're still doing good, chat. We're still doing good. I gotta take a piss, low key. Gotta take a piss. I gotta take a piss like a racehorse. Okay.